As many of you know, I like TV. Just a little bit. But what you didn't know is I didn't always watch TV. I know it's crazy. I'm the TV girl. That's my thing. But I didn't even have cable till I was in 6th grade, so I never really watched anything except for what came on Saturday mornings. But when I moved to Las Vegas, my dad promised he would get cable. He said he was doing it for me, but I'm pretty sure it was just so he could watch all the football games he wanted. But that's when things changed for me. I started watching all these stories unfold on TV, and I loved it. I love all types of shows, from throwback sitcoms like Cheers to sci-fi shows like Vampire Diaries. You name it, I've seen it. Once I started watching TV, I became addicted, and it got a lot worse when we got Netflix. But I love TV for so many reasons. It lets you dream and connect with people. TV is extremely cathartic. It lets you dream and be able to avoid reality and imagine, and at least for me, it makes me think that maybe our world isn't as flawed. For that moment when the girl gets the guy and the family reconnects, and you see these relationships that build into lifelong friendships. It just makes you want to believe in the goodness and happiness in the world. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that our life is always sad and depressing, but you can't argue that it isn't sometimes. Bad things happen, and they do on shows too. That's what makes them so real. As viewers, we love to see people go through things, the good and the bad, because it makes us think that if they can get through it, we can too. People love to be able to compare themselves to characters. It's what we do. We compare ourselves to them because we want to be them. No one person in here can claim that they've never thought of themselves as a character from a TV show or a movie. We live vicariously through that character because maybe they can do things that we as viewers are too scared or can't do. TV is an escape. It's a moment where you get to be anybody you want to be. A vampire, a surgeon, an FBI agent, you can be anything. For that 1 hour, you get to escape from reality and be whoever you want to be. TV shows are just one of those topics that you can bring up and everyone can chime in on or has an opinion about. That's what TV does. It unifies people. It brings them together because even if you don't like the same things, you can all watch a show and root for a couple or hate against a villain together. And don't get me wrong, I love movies too. I just love TV shows so much more. There's something there that you can't get with movies, a serious connection with the characters. I don't cry that much when I watch movies and a character dies because I've only known that character for 2 hours. But with TV shows, you develop this deep connection with the character, and when they die, it's just so heartbreaking. I mean, ask any Grey's Anatomy fan. People we love die all the time on that show. And every time I cry. Since TV shows have many, many seasons, you see the characters experience more things. And don't get me wrong, some of the shows go a little over the top with kidnappings and shootings and car accidents like every season. But when you watch a TV show, you're watching the story of somebody's life. And you realize that everything that's happening to them can happen to you too. Even the stories that are supernatural like Teen Wolf, you see the same aspects of stories coming up over and over. And it shows you that we all want the same things in life. We want happiness, and we want people to share it with. Now, one thing about me is I watch any type of show. Drama, crime, reality, sci-fi, comedy, I watch it all. So I'm gonna break down one of my favorite shows, The Mentalist. A lot of cop shows tend to blend together because they're all the same story where you could watch any episode in the series and it wouldn't matter if you've seen the ones before it. Now, I don't like those type of cop shows. That's why my favorite crime show is The Mentalist. It's not just about solving crimes from episode to episode, even though they do. It has an underlying story that sets it apart from others. Red John. He's a serial killer who killed the family of the CBI consultant Patrick Jane, and Red John returns at least a few times each season. I love this show because of Patrick Jane and the serial killer, which sounds bad, but he wasn't some character that the agents could easily catch. It took the team 6 seasons to catch him. The best part about the show is how smart Patrick Jane and Red John are. Red John could outwit everyone, even Patrick Jane, this extremely intelligent and observant guy. I mean, people actually believed he was a psychic for years. And it was amazing to watch truly brilliant people battle it out. And that's why I loved it so much, because Patrick Jane and his counterpart Red John, they made this show special. They made it unique. Shows like The Mentalist and Psych and Bones and Sherlock, They take these traditional cop show ideas and make them so much more entertaining. And now, for the best part about TV shows. The romance. Every show has that it couple that everybody becomes obsessed with and roots for. Everybody wants to find their McDreamy or their Nathan Scott. And watching the series, you root for this couple and you become obsessed with them and you attach yourself to them. That's why it's always so crushing when the couple breaks up. I mean, take Gossip Girl, for instance. Every time Chuck and Blair would break up or decide they're better off apart, you just wanted to grab them and be like, guys, do you not see how perfect you are for each other? It comes to a point where you can't imagine that character with anybody else. And, if you're like me, you get really good at noticing when a new character is going to mess up a relationship. I can't count the number of times I've texted Courtney or Elizabeth saying, this new guy is going to be bad news. Now, some of you at this point might be thinking, if she likes the stories and characters so much, she can get that from books too. And yes, and that's what some people do. They read the books and they get the same stories as if you were watching the TV on a TV. Now, that's not really for me. I'm not a big fan of the whole reading thing. I'm a very visual person. I love to actually see what's happening and not just reading the words and imagining it in my head. I don't need 3 pages of prose to describe the fog. I just need a quick 2 seconds of it on the screen and then a character can enter and I'm good. But either way, you still experience the same story being told from beginning to end. Unless it gets canceled on a cliffhanger. Man, I just hate when that happens. The only feeling worse than a cliffhanger is the feeling after you finished a long series and you're just like, well, what am I supposed to do now? It's so sad because either 1, you spent years watching it on TV, or 2, the past 3 months binge watching it on Netflix. Either way, you still get this experience of emptiness after it's all over. It's sad because you've devoted so much time into this character in the shows that when it's over, it's just heartbreaking. But on a more positive note, it just means you have time to start another show now. TV is also very important in my life because it's a huge way that me and my dad bond. If you know my dad, you would know that, wait, let's be honest, my best friends don't even know my dad. It was a running joke in volleyball that my dad would never show up to any of the games. Actually, one of the players at an away tournament in San Antonio thought my dad lived there because it was the first time she ever saw him. So my dad's not the typical family definition of a father that comes and supports their kids at all their games and all their school functions, which surprisingly he is here for today. But I'm okay with that because my dad is like my best friend. We can always laugh and have fun together. And one way that we really bond is over TV shows. We watch a lot of shows together, and the best ones are the singing competitions like The Voice and American Idol. And no, we don't watch American Idol for the singing. We watch it for the terrible auditions. We sit there and we make fun of the people auditioning. I know, we're terrible people. My mom won't even watch it with us anymore because we'll actually talk over the people singing and are just like, dude, come on, you know you can't sing. TV is a huge way that me and my dad bond. Yeah, it's over making fun of people, but still. It's something that me and my dad will always share together. Now, I never really thought about how many hours of TV I watch a week until I started writing this speech, and I thought it'd be a cool thing to figure out. So I found out that I watch 35 hours of TV a week. Sorry, Mom. But TV is a huge part of my life. And yeah, some people see it as a waste of time, but I love it because it lets me dream and escape reality and be anybody I want to be. So how can that be a bad thing? Maybe one day I won't be as addicted to TV, but for right now, it's who I am, and I love it. Thank you.